to Hell, The Final Friday, rated R. Starts Friday, August 13th at a theater near you.
The blackest eyes, the devil's eyes.
You will suffer an eternity for this.
She ain't had a taste of the Duke yet.
I don't know, Kevin. I don't know, Ken. Have you had a taste of the Duke yet? Or are you ready to get into Jason Goes to Hell, The Final Friday, the first New Line entry of basically what is the back half of Friday the 13th?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I love this movie. When I think
That's
about
why I
watching
brought
this
you on,
movie-
because I'm like, you're the first one who were like, I actually like this movie, and I'm like, I want this guy on with us.
Yeah. Watching this movie makes me feel happy. Like I'm wearing a pink dress, pushing a hot dog through a donut.
Now,
I
are
dig
you a
that.
fan of the unrated cut, or are you a fan of the theatrical cut?
I mean, like, I really honestly like both of them.
Yeah.
The unrated, I think, is a lot better. I think the kills are more pronounced. You know, you get the rip scene in the unrated, which I think is absolutely fantastic. But I'm not like a theatrical version hater by any stretch of the imagination.
No, but yeah, that's right, everybody. Jason Goes to Hell, The Final Friday. That's what we are doing tonight. And we're going to talk about some first memories for all three of us. And then we'll get into the good, the bad, and then we're going to judge this movie. And as a special note, Adam Marcus does have his Hearts of Darkness documentary that has been making the rounds on the kind of the cinematic circuit for, say, like around at film festivals. We should be getting that soon in the States, and I'm looking forward to that because I backed that bitch on Indiegogo like years ago. I'm ready for my Blu-ray.
Yep. And I love Adam. I've gotten the chance to, spend a little time with him, get to know him, and he's a great guy. It's funny, we actually connected because of my love of his film, My Boyfriend's Back. And
No
That's
shit.
a good movie, dude.
He
Yeah.
did that?
yes.
Yeah.
I didn't know
Oh, dude,
that.
Kevin.
That's
Oh.
cool.
And
You're fired.
I'm a huge fan of that movie, and I had him sign. I still have my VHS, and I had him sign the sleeve for my VHS on it.
That's right.
And like we just connected on that, and I actually consider him a friend now, and I'm glad like this film is finally starting to turn some heads. People are finally starting to come around to Jason Goes to Hell. Not as many as I would like, but we're starting to get there, and it's just the way this film came into fruition to me is just absolutely batshit insane. So I'm super, super stoked to talk about all things Jason Goes to Hell.
Well, what is your first memory of this movie? Did you see this in theaters when it first came out, or was it like, oh, hey, it's on VHS tape, let's check this bad boy out?
I did not see it in theater. I really wanted to, never got the chance to. And then when it came out, I got it because my parents had a mom and pop video store called Downtown Video. And the minute this came into the video store, I got it and I took it home, and me and my cousins watched it. And I got grounded actually because of this movie.
Wait, what?
Yeah. For like 2 weeks after this movie, everywhere I went, anybody that came to the house, anything, I would talk about the ending of this film. And how amazing the ending to the film was. And my mom, I'll never forget it. Her friend Debbie and Lisa were over, and I was like, you guys got to hear this. My mom was like, not tonight. I'm so tired of hearing about this fucking movie. And I continued to go. My mom was like, get out of here, go to your room. I'm done. I can't do this tonight. And I ended up getting my Nintendo 64 taken away because of Jason Goes to Hell.
Dude, that's lame.
Yeah.
Oh.
But I mean, in my mom's defense, like I would not shut the fuck up about the end of this movie. It was like a chatterbox that would just would talk about what's going to happen next. How were they able to do this? You know, like it was just the ending of this movie like was the first time I can really remember an ending of a movie blowing my mind. Like I remembered endings like Fucking With Me, obviously, and
Oh, yeah.
Twist and all that shit. This was the first time where I was like, no fucking way this just happened.
Now, are you talking about like the actual ending with Jason
Yes.
dies, or are you talking about the glove with the mask?
The glove. The glove. Yeah, absolutely.
I think we all, as children, or teens or early 20s, were going crazy about this because I actually snuck into the movie theater for this. I bought a ticket for a different movie
Nice.
because my theater was getting strange with like letting people into R-rated horror movies. I was doing it up to a point. This was the first movie where they were like, can I see your ID? I'm like, wait, what? Where's Bill? Where's Tina? Like, where are the people that usually let me into these fucking movies without specifically saying that? And
Right.
they're like, no, you can't go to see this movie. I'm like, well, then I'll take a ticket to blah blah blah. I don't know what it was, but they're like, all right, here you go. And then I went straight to the goddamn Jason Goes to Hell movie, and I'm like, okay, I guess this is what I'm doing from now on.
Right.
And I learned how to double dip doing it that way then too. So, but walking out of that movie, like the ending is what sold it for me, basically. I mean, we had the theatrical cut. I thought the movie was fine for the most part. But when it was all said and done, and then the claw came out with Freddy's laugh and grabbing the mask, I'm like, oh, damn, we're going there. And that was rad. I was buying Fangoria at the time from Tower Records. I ran over to Tower Records, bought the newest issue. Had nothing about this freaking movie for about 2 months. Magazines at that time were a little bit behind the times, but it was
wasn't
fun.
like today.
And there was a lot of speculation going on, though, about it possibly happening.
And, you know, we were at that point hoping for Freddy versus Jason at that point. You know, it took some years. But when I saw that, I was like, there ain't no fucking way I just saw what I saw. Like, ain't no way. Like, that was my Avengers Endgame. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, how the fuck did they do this? You know, this was my Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. You know, that was what this was to me.
100%. That ending was really special for the Gen X horror crowd.
Damn straight.
Like, it was something that we'd all wanted. I was too young to go to the horror cons, but like looking back on it and the documentaries and stuff like that, like we would have been like perfectly happy there, being those types of fans, wanting to like shake hands with both Kane Hodder and Robert Englund and saying, you know, God damn, I would love to see you two go at it. There's a great documentary in Jason X that Adam's actually a part of, that Kane talks about, and it shows them whether or not was it. Yeah, it was Jason X who would win in a fight. And like, definitely check that out if you can, because again, it shows a lot of Adam. It talks a lot about this, not nearly as much as I'm sure you guys already know, but for people at home, definitely check out that documentary. And Joe Bob's on it and goes off on this like long diatribe of how every single person that dies in a Friday the 13th movie dies. Unedited. It was fucking awesome.
Right on. Now, do you have any first memories of this movie, Kevin?
Yeah, man. Going over to my Aunt Susan's house after school and watching it on pirated cable.
Right on, Aunt Susan, pirated cable. Let's go.
Yeah, man.
Did she have a box to scrambler, or was it don't talk about it, don't ask about it?
I think it was a box to scrambler, I think.
I'm
not sure. Yeah. But like I always had the pay-per-view shit. So I was like, fuck yeah, when this came out, like as soon as it hit pay-per-view, I was watching it. And I remember loving the beginning and loving the end. Not so much in the middle, but again, I was kind of young when this first came out and I didn't appreciate what it was doing. And I don't know that I'd seen all 8 at that point yet either.
I had not. I can actually confirm that myself.
Yeah.
I think I'd only seen like part like 2, 3, maybe a little bit of 4, and definitely 5. After that, I didn't even see 6 and 7 when they came out. I didn't even know about them till after this movie. It's like, man, I gotta get caught up. So I bought a bunch of VHS tapes right after that.
Right.
My VHS collection, I miss that. As it is, I have the Scream Factory box set, so I got my little my DVD set,
Ooh.
but I put them all in black cases, so not everybody
Yeah.
does the same. So
Well,
that was an expense to add value to my collection, which will never go away. And I'm a little behind on the 4Ks, but if anybody's interested, there is a great Scream Factory box set. You can get all the Blu-rays, no problem. It's a reasonable price.
yeah, it's only like 130, isn't it? 120.
It does go on sale for as low as about $80 to $90. Just watch
Oh, wow.
Amazon for price drops.
Cool.
Mhm.
But the 4Ks are coming out from Arrow, so if you want to talk about 4Ks, I know one just came out. I did have to cancel my order because money's a little tight right now, but I am going to end up getting it because I wanted to go in conjunction with Hearts of Darkness, the making of the Final Friday from Adam Marcus, because it's not being included on there, and it should be.
Of course. Absolutely should be.
Yeah.
I don't see why it wouldn't be, aside from them just not wanting to put out the extra money, or Adam was asking.
Right.
I don't
Well,
know.
he's got a solid 30-minute interview on this, but I want to apparently there is clearly way more to tell from him on this, and that's why I backed his Indiegogo years ago. And I like him as a director.
Mhm.
I have no problem with him at all, and I think he did a damn good job with Jason Goes to Hell. And then we can actually talk about this movie and get into things that we like about it, things we don't like
Okay.
about it, and then we can judge it. So, Kevin, fire us up with the good, the bad, let's judge this thing. And then we can judge each other if we want.
Fair enough. All right, let's get on with the goodness. Bang! Oh, I'm
Yeah.
so sorry. My bad.
Oh. Strategic use of the logos. Ken, I didn't even know he was going to do that.
Sorry.
We don't talk about prep on these shows. We just watch and go for it.
Right. That's amazing.
That was the good part of the show. That really was the good part of this movie for me. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Hey, Jason Goes to Hell has the tropings of all the good things you like about your Friday the 13th movie. It's got the nudity, a little bit of swearing, and it definitely has the violence. So it has like 3 out of basically 4 things you want out of Friday the 13th. The 4th thing is the Jason factor, and that we can discuss as we get to it. But the makings of a good Friday the 13th movie are in this movie.
Mhm.
When we get to the bad, it's basically going to be this picture. Actually,
I see your point.
like I think they did Kane a little dirty in this movie, to be honest with you.
I mean,
he got a
that's all
cameo.
Sean Cunningham, you know.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I don't know if you guys know this. I'm sure you do, but like when Adam Marcus was chose to direct this movie, Sean Cunningham was like, "Get that fucking hockey mask out of my movie."
Yeah,
Wow,
he
really?
wanted it gone. That was
Yeah,
in
he
the
was like-
interview I watched last night on this thing for the first time. I'm like, I kind of knew that, but like
Yeah, he was like,
when
we
he's
gotta shake
actually
it up.
talking about it, it's like he's like, man, he was adamant. Get the hockey mask the fuck out.
Wow, he really is
Yeah.
a fucking idiot, isn't he?
Yeah.
All right.
And I mean, you got to think Adam Marcus is a very, very young director at this point. You know, he
was
wrote
what,
this
like
and directed it when he
22?
was 23 years old.
Dang.
Right.
And all he had done before this was like music videos and shit. You know, like his feature film debut is fucking writing Jason Goes to Hell with a guy over top of you going, "Take that fucking hockey mask out of my movie." So what's he do? He calls Sam Raimi. "Hey, can I use Evil Dead?" "Sure." Calls that studio. "Hell no." So we call Sam back, and Sam says, "Well, you know what? Take my copy of the Necronomicon and put it in the movie and just don't say anything about it." So when you see Steven at the table with the Necronomicon and he starts flipping through it, that's Sam Raimi's copy of the Necronomicon there.
From
That's why I had
Army
all the
of
pages.
Darkness.
Yeah, that's why he gave Adam Marcus that book and was like, I want you to go ahead. You have my blessing. But Adam Marcus obviously wasn't allowed to say anything about Deadites or Necronomicon. And I've always been a firm believer that the Voorhees dagger is completely and totally the Kandarian dagger. You look at that thing, like that is the Kandarian dagger from the Evil Dead franchise.
Or a slight variation on it just to make it a little different.
Right. And so, like, this movie really, when it comes down to it, has the makings of Evil Dead, Friday the 13th, and Nightmare on Elm Street all rolled into one movie. Like, that to me is so incredible. And the kills in this movie are great. The action in this movie, it's like a scene from the Terminator when you have that diner shootout. Like, that whole scene is action-packed and intense. And what did we do when we were kids talking on the playground? You know, like, man, if I was in a Jason movie, I'd just blow him up, or why don't they drop him in a volcano or something like that? You know,
pretty much
the first 5 minutes, that's what they do. So as a kid, you're like, thank you. That's what I was waiting for. Blow the fucker up. He ain't coming back now. And Jason said, hold my machete.
Yeah, you think you got my ass? You got another 85 minutes of my ass on yours.
Right. And come on, man. Look, I get that it sucks not having Jason in the movie. I get that. But man, how epic is it when he busts out of that basement and you finally see him? Like, you're like, here we fuck it. Like, there it is. There's the moment I've been waiting for. Like, there's the, you know, just bust through. So scary. And man, it's so good.
Well, that's the buildup I absolutely appreciate. What goes to hell is like, okay, yeah, Jason's miss. You get him for the first 10 minutes and you basically get him for the last 10 minutes. And when he comes out of that basement and they're all looking at each other like, wait, does a Voorhees need to be alive for him to possess them? No. And the look on their face is like, oh, fuck, we're toast. And then he busts through. It's like, as the audience, how can you not? I was in the theater when the whole audience just popped at that. I remember three things about this movie specifically: the first 5 minutes and the last 10 minutes. Everything in between is kind of like, okay, whatever. But like basically the last like 10 minutes of this movie, everybody was screaming like ecstatically. So I can confirm when this was in theater, I saw this that Saturday when it came out. Everybody was going, that was awesome. And fucking Freddy, holy shit.
Yeah, dude. Like the good. I mean, how much time you guys got? Like, I could go on and on and on about the goods of this movie. Like when they
go about an hour, it can go longer. It's fine.
When they elbow the lady in the jaw at the diner.
Oh God!
Someone ban that woman in the chat right now. Get her out of here. Get that woman in the chat right now out of here. I don't want to hear from her again.
Oh,
she's been bugging me for 20 years, man. Get her out of here. What's up, baby?
You're always welcome here. We can kick him out if you want to come on too.
she fucking, dude, like, true story. She hates this movie, like, with a pat. She hates this movie like I hate Halloween 6. Like,
really?
Oh, brother! Now you got to start a fight with me now? God, come on.
Like, she doesn't like it. You know what I mean? And that's what I love about her. She's honest with me about it. She's not like, yeah, that movie's good, babe. Like, I don't know if you guys have seen it, but we have a segment on our channel called In Defense Of, where we defend movies that aren't really well loved in the horror community.
I like that series, by the way.
The first episode we did was Jason Goes to Hell. And Josh Eppard, the drummer from Coheed and Cambria, came on and did the episode with me. And Ashley, that was the only episode where she was like, I'm not in. Like, I can't do this. Like, I can't defend this movie. There's no redeeming qualities except for the last 18 seconds. Like, that's her point of view on this movie. But I wish you were here, babe, so you could, shrink my head a little bit as I was talking about it.
But
God damn it, guys. But no, it's funny because I look at this movie like it's my baby. Like, I've always defended this movie and I've always loved this movie, and I've felt like I've had to work so damn hard to get people to enjoy it. So like when I finally get that one person that's like, you know what, I checked it out, and after watching your In Defense Of with Josh, and after hearing like your absolute love for the movie, it really did kind of change the way that I looked at it. And that to me is like, let's go, like hell yeah. It's really a great feeling when I can tell when somebody comes to me and was like, I really, really enjoyed watching Jason Goes to Hell after hearing your perspective on it. Is this a perfect movie? No. And when we get into the bad, I'll talk about some of the things that I dislike from this movie, because there are things I dislike. But man, to me, the positives way outweigh the negatives in this movie. I mean, Creighton Duke, for God's sake, like he's
right?
so
Stephen
amazing,
Williams,
man. So good.
Even Adam has said like there's a lot of things he left on the cutting room floor that had a lot to do with Creighton and his backstory. And he's like, Creighton's backstory is fucking crazy. And I'm like, I want to see that. And even he has said like this unrated version is better than the theatrical, but it is still not his definitive version, because if I remember right from this like 35-minute interview, which I thought I was going to fall asleep during, dude, it was enthralling. He basically said like there was over a 2-hour cut of this movie and it was boring, but he still feels like there's enough footage out there. If he could go back and do a true director's cut, he could get it to where he wants to, because the footage he thought existed at the time he did the making of on this, or his little interview. And I would love to see that, because
me too.
There is some great direction in this movie. There's some great cinematography in this movie. There's some great scoring in this movie. Terry's back on this bad boy. And I'm like, I've always been in the middle on this movie. There's a lot I like. There's a lot I don't like. It's not the movie out of this whole franchise that I'd be like, that's not one of my favorites. People would honestly probably be surprised that I would say that Part 7 is not actually my favorite of this whole franchise. And I actually like this one more than I like that one. And I highly approve of Jason X.
See, that's where you'll lose me. I don't care about the space stuff. Like, I don't care about, like, that's all fine. That's fine with me. I just think that the writing of that movie it drives me insane. Like,
it's a Sci-Fi Channel movie for Jason, is what it is.
It is. And I'm not really into, like, the corny jokes, like the CGI in that movie is like, you look at the practical effects of Jason Goes to Hell, and then you look the next film, Jason X, and like the corny jokes and the shitty acting and the terrible CGI. Like, to me, like, and I get it. Like, if somebody says they love Jason X, I can understand it, because I love Jason Goes to Hell. I can understand it because I don't hate Freddy's Dead. I have a lot of fun with Freddy's Dead. I really, really love, and I will say love, not like, I love Halloween Resurrection. I think that movie is so damn fun, and I have such a great time with it. And these are movies that most people, are like, that's ridiculous. Why do you like these? And that's how I feel about Jason X. So it definitely has that yin and yang of me loving these movies that aren't really notoriously loved. But I've never been bored watching Halloween Resurrection. I can throw that on, be mindless, and just laugh. And is it a good movie? No, it's not a good movie at all. But it's not boring.
Trick or treat, motherfucker.
Right, Dangertainment, baby. I've never been bored watching that movie. I can at least put that movie on, get a good laugh. Same thing with Freddy's Dead. I can put that movie on, and especially as a kid, I saw Freddy's Dead in cinema in 3D. So
I did too.
Yeah. So I have that nostalgia of it as well, of how much I loved being in the theater with my uncle and my cousins watching this movie, and the 3D glasses, and Freddy blowing up at the end and the Freddy worms coming at you. And I remember that so vividly because it left such a mark on me. So I could never hate that movie for that reason.
Yeah, that was good times.
I was gonna say Kevin's the big Nightmare fan in this group over here, so you could speak better to Freddy's Dead better than I could, because I was okay on that movie.
My experience was kind of the same. Like, I hated the way it ended, but it is what it is. You kind of went into it knowing that he was going to die. I just kind of hated that it happened, because I was like, I was a fan of the man, not the series. Like I loved Freddy. I loved watching him kill people, and the humor of it was just spot on for me in every one. But I liked that one because it was cartoony as fuck, and that was like the peak of the one-liners and shit. And when we went back and just did the whole series, we were kind of like, oh, okay, yeah, this is a live action Looney Tunes movie with Robert Englund in it. We get it now. So
see, and that's what they were going for. They nailed what they were going for.
Yeah, and looking back on it, I really owe Rachel Talalay a huge apology, and I have a whole lot of respect for her.
See, that's how I like when we talk about our least favorites in the Nightmare franchise. For me, it's Dream Child. Like I hate that movie.
Fair enough.
Like I do not like that movie. And I think Nightmare is one of the most consistent horror franchises. I mean, you get Freddy's Dead, which a lot of people hate, and then you get, the Dream Child, which I dislike. But I'm putting Nightmare over Halloween 7 out of 7 days a week.
Yeah, I'd go that direction.
God damn you two. I must be the bigger Halloween fan over here. Although when you get to Rob Zombie, it's like, then
I also put Friday over both of them because the only real stinker, I think, in the Friday the 13th franchise is Jason X. Even Jason Takes Manhattan, that has redeeming qualities to it. I think the Roxana kill is great. I think, punching in the head over the roof is great. The characters aren't shitty.
It's got Kelly Hu in it. I love it.
Dude, come on, man. That shot of Jason, even though it's in Vancouver, but that shot of Jason in Times Central, like, oh, dude, that's so fucking dope. That's so cool, man. And when he shows the punks, his face, like, dude, it's great. I love it.
I have a theory about that movie, honestly, is like the second the girl gets injected with the heroin, I think the rest of that movie is just a dream sequence. And I always had it in my head that what Jason Goes to Hell does is picks up right kind of where I thought. Like so he gets hit, he gets swept out, he goes back to Crystal Lake, and he starts killing again. My thought was always like he's finding his way back to Crystal Lake because whatever happened in Manhattan was crazy and she dreamed it. He never left there. It was all in her head that last like 20 minutes of that movie. And then the FBI's hunting him down. And so I always had it in my head. That was the idea to go forward, was to have the FBI on his ass, and he's killing people all the way back to Crystal Lake, and they're closing in on him. And that's how the movie would end for basically the next movie. Yeah. And it would write itself. But then you got Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare. You got this. How would you feel like knowing that these two are like, this is the end of the road for the characters as we know it. Now we're about to go head to head with Freddy versus Jason. And this is not to start a conversation about that, but how do you feel with Jason Goes to Hell being the last one leading into that? And we're ignoring Jason X here because they did that as an in-between to fill the gaps because they couldn't figure out their goddamn script for like 10 years.
Yeah, they had to do that to, keep the rights, but I'm fine. Like, honestly, I'm fine with that because I'd rather end like this than end like the Friday the 13th remake did in 2009 on a cliffhanger that, the same ending you've had in 3 different other movies. Yeah.
The only problem I have with that movie actually is the very, very end.
Yeah. I would rather have a definitive end to Jason than he popped out of the water again. Yeah, I feel like Biff Tannen in Back to the Future 2. Like, there's something awfully familiar about this.
Gray Sports Almanac has reappeared again.
Right. So like there's that's to me, like, I get that. Honestly, that's the problem with a lot of the Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street films. None of these movies know how to end a fucking film except for this one. This is the only film in any of these franchises that I think has a great ending. I mean, you look at even Nightmare on Elm Street, which I think is one of the quintessential horror movies. If I'm going to show someone a horror movie for the very first time, I'm probably leaning towards Nightmare or Psycho. Nightmare on Elm Street has one of the worst endings of all time with that dumb Freddy car and that stupid blow-up doll mom. Like, terrible ending. Like, you look at every Nightmare on Elm Street movie, like, oh, they put holy water on his bones and he died. Or, they showed him a mirror and said a poem, and then spirits ripped his body apart. Like they don't know how to end a movie. And that all changed with Jason Goes to Hell.
We blew him up and sent him to hell.
Man, that's
And they
very
were
true.
definitive about that. They weren't being fucking coy about it either.
Right. Yeah.
No.
They tell you in the title, Jason Goes to Hell. This is it. It's the final Friday.
Not
And I
like in
like
Freddy vs.
that.
Jason, where they say there's a clear-cut winner and they both fucking,
Dude, the promos going up to that, and we'll do this like next week when we do Freddy versus Jason, but like the promos to that was basically like a UFC fight with them eyeing up each other. And like, man, the promotion for that is what made that movie work. It wasn't exactly the movie itself that made it work.
Yeah.
Although
no.
Robert was great in it. So I don't like what they did with the Jasons in that movie. That's all.
It was definitely more of a nightmare movie than a Friday movie.
Yeah.
Catherine Isabel was in it, though.
Yes, she was. But that was a stunt double in the shower, Kevin.
Shut up!
Sorry, that was not her.
Damn it. Damn it.
I'm defacing your memories, but other good things about this movie, absolutely the kills. I got to ask you guys, what's your favorite kill out of this one?
Go ahead, Ken.
Kevin. Okay.
The tent, obviously.
You know, I would agree with that. I would agree with that.
That was freaking rad.
Up until last night, I would have agreed with that. But last night, I just got so like giddy when I saw him put the other mortician's face through the grated table.
Through the grate.
Yeah,
yep.
and
that was mine.
The flesh kind of go poop through. I was like, wow, that was fun. Do it again.
That was the detail work. Good job, KMB boys. You did it again.
I mean, like, I think what's cool to me is like when you're watching the tent kill, like obviously me as a young boy, I would pause it to see boobies. So when you pause it before he pulls, not at that spot, but when he puts the stake through her and pulls it up, if you pause it before that, you can see that she's already ripped. Like you can see the prosthetic is already
the stitching part. Yeah.
It's already tore through. And so like that to me was really cool to see as a kid, like pausing and being like, hey, wait a minute. I can already see she's dead. So I thought that, as a kid, that was really cool to me to be able to see that. It was harder as a kid to find the theatrical version than it was the unrated.
Right.
That's true. Same with Lord of Illusions.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Thank
I
God,
remember
though.
like getting the VHS tape and it's like unrated. I never saw the theatrical until I got like this goddamn thing.
Same. Didn't see the theatrical until much later in life.
I mean, I saw it in the theaters, but it's like I clearly knew what was different, but I couldn't find a copy of this for freaking forever.
Right. Jason also teaches you in this. You put the condom on or I'm gonna kill you.
That's mentioned by Adam Marcus in this. He's like, the second the condom doesn't go on, they dead.
They're done. That's a wrap. When you see Jason step on it, you're like, uh-oh.
Naughty sons of bitches.
Kevin, what else do you like about Jason Goes to Hell?
I would be remiss if I didn't say John D. LeMay. Like, I love
Ryan!
that dude. I love him, and I can't say they did him wrong in this movie. They really didn't. Like, I'm glad that he got to cross from the TV show onto the movies, or into the movie franchise. Different character, of course.
Complete with Varsity Jacket, baby.
Yeah. Don't know why, but far out. I've always really liked him, and I like the character Steve. I wish there would have been more of him, and we'll get to that more in the bad, but he was definitely one of the strong points for me watching this as a kid, and then still now as an adult.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. There's really good casting in this, actually. I'm honestly pretty impressed. Like, this has been a few years since I've watched this movie, basically since the box set came out a few years ago. But John D. LeMay, I'm like, wow, I thought he was a little more annoying back then when this movie first came out, because I was always sore that he left Friday the 13th season 3. But as we're watching that now, I'm thinking maybe it was a good thing he checked out on season 3 because the writing turned south on that one. And him even they didn't even know he was in the damn TV show when they cast him for this freaking movie. And he's even said that, like, they didn't even realize I was on the TV show. And he's
That's
mentioned
awesome.
that before. It's on Crystal Lake Memories if y'all want to check out that great documentary. But having him in this was awesome. I kept wanting to call him Ryan the whole damn movie. They could have called him Ryan Cunningham the whole damn movie, and I would have been like, hey, just call him Ryan the whole damn movie. That would have worked for me. No problem. It would have given a little tie into Curious Goods, the TV show, and it
Yep.
would have worked. But it's fine. It's cool. I totally get it. But him being in this worked for me. Kane Hodder being in and out of makeup worked for me. And I absolutely love the unrated cut because it gives you the first 10 minutes of a traditional Friday the 13th movie and then totally spins it on its head for the rest of the movie.
I love Kane too. And he's like, he's nothing but a big old pussy anyway.
I know, but then they don't even show his death except in the news footage clip of, and multiple security guards were murdered.
Right.
But it zooms in on his face. You're just like, oh,
Exactly.
that's rough,
Right.
dude.
God, that was so good.
He went out
There is a lot to like about this movie, actually. Like the scripting, the directing, it's pretty good. Does feel like things are missing. But unless you guys got anything else you want to highlight about the good?
The coroner. I can't remember his name. The guy from the TV show you really like.
Oh, Ron Gant.
The guy from Special
Ron
Unit.
Grant. Yep. He was great. I liked him being the first Jason for at least the first
He's
20
unhinged,
minutes.
man.
Yeah, he was very scary. The other two guys, no, not at all. Well, the lawyer guy was kind of funny, but the coroner was fucking. He was terrifying. Like he was every bit as intimidating as Jason. Out of all these guys that Jason was going through, that's the one I believed was Jason.
Sure.
That would have been an interesting take for the rest of the movie, but doing the body jumping was definitely an interesting choice. But him being the first one and then eating the heart the first time,
Yes.
I remember being like, what the hell?
That was some shit.
That was wild, man.
Whoa.
And
He's
had
still
the look, he
gross
had the
looking,
eyes.
man.
Yeah. Black blood pumping out everywhere. All right. Well, we can hit the bed, Kevin. All right, Kevin, what you got for the bad?
The bad, golly, you know what? I did not care for these three together at the same time.
I'm going to agree with that.
I thought Crichton was fantastic as a character. I thought Steve and this chick were pretty okay.
Yep.
As far as like Friday couples go, they're pretty like on the par, but
Milk toast.
Together, it took away from John and it took away from Stephen Tyler, Stephen Williams.
Stephen Tyler. I'm like going down in an elevator.
Yeah, I didn't know Aerosmith was in this picture.
Yeah,
Well,
neither did I, Kevin.
They didn't want to pay the royalties, so they cut out all the songs and shit. So yeah.
Sure.
That would have been funny.
But I don't know, like the breaking John's fingers to tell him how to fight Jason. You're like, but you're taking away his ability to grab shit, you numb nut. Like, what the fuck? That was kind of stupid to me.
Yeah.
There was a huge amount of cheesiness to this movie. So if you are not prepared for that, you're probably going to be put off by it, especially if you've been watching like violent and serious natured movies or the previous installments. Although I will say this is better than most of the back half of the Friday movies. Like it's not my least favorite. It might be. No, I don't even know if it's my second least favorite, but it might be. But part 5 is my least favorite. That's the one I just didn't care for at all. But this one didn't bother me so much. It gets better the older I get. But as I was watching it, even stoned off my ass, I'm like, this is campy as fuck. And to a large degree it was, but I don't know. It once you got these three together, I don't know. It lost its savagery, I guess. I don't know.
Well, it
because
takes away the tension because you got the baby coming in.
Oh,
and
yeah.
one of the notes I wrote down is, okay, so you're trying to get the dagger underneath the dresser at the end. You're holding a baby, and you got John LeMay also trying to reach under there too. It's like, set the fucking baby down for a split second, because in 5 minutes, the baby's not even around for the next 5 while you try and kill Jason with the goddamn dagger. Set the fucking baby down, grab the dagger, and kill him.
Yeah. Or toss the baby up in the air at him and then shove the knife through his heart when he goes to catch it. Fuck it.
Literally, it was so ridiculous. It's like, I can't get it. I'm holding the baby. I can't get the dagger. Like, I was just looking at the TV like, okay, I think this is literally the dumbest part of the movie.
There are a lot of dumb character decisions throughout this movie.
Are you talking about the diner loaded up with guns, or are you talking about something else?
All of it, man. And like here, honestly, my biggest pet peeve of this movie happens at the beginning. And it drives me fucking insane every time I watch it. Like, Jason knows when, 3 kids are out swimming in the water and he's readying himself to kill these people. But he doesn't know a whole FBI crew snuck into Crystal Lake to take him out. Like, he was that distracted by one woman in the tightest towel of all time that he didn't realize a whole, FBI unit with bombs and guns got into Crystal Lake after him. Like, that drives me insane. Like, when a van full of teenagers shows up, Jason's right there.
Yeah.
But all these FBI people show up, and Jason's like, I'm good. I'm going after this one woman.
None of them have had premarital sex.
Yeah. There is a split second where Jason does look around like something's not right here, but it's a minimal split second, and then he's already been smoked. It's like he's never been that stupid.
Right. And it dropped that part. As I've gotten, again, as a kid, that was amazing watching him get blown to shit. But as I've gotten older, I'm like, you're telling me he didn't know they were all there? Like, that to me drives me fucking nuts. But
they had a complete surround system on him, like a complete circle. And it's like, in my mind, like I mentioned earlier, like the FBI is chasing him all the way back to Crystal Lake. Like, you have an elite force of complete badasses. It's like Predator is what I had in mind for what this movie would be. Is you got elite FBI agents tracking Jason down and trying to take him out, but he's killing people all the way back to Crystal Lake.
Yeah.
And it ended up being down to 2 people. So I want to say
believable because that's what the first 5 movies are about. The first 5 movies all take place in 2-3 days.
I think part of the problem was they took him out to Manhattan, and this movie was trying to course correct way more than it probably needed to. And I don't blame anybody for that. That's Adam Marcus and everybody being like, we got to get this back to this being a Jason movie at Crystal Lake. Yes, we got to get the mask off. Yes, we got to do something different. Yes, we got to evolve here. But New York did not work for a lot of reasons. Manhattan didn't work for a lot of reasons. So we got to fix this. And they brought back a lot of the things that make Jason movies work. And it's all here. It's taking a long time for the fan base to come around to it. And a lot of people didn't appreciate it at first. I even remember this talking with friends. The body jumping bothered a lot of people. This isn't a Jason movie. This isn't a Jason movie, but that ending was dope. Well, how do you think we're going to get there otherwise?
Right.
There's no other way to make it work. And now New Line has possession of the Jason character, and they also have Nightmare on Elm Street. We can figure this out. And Adam Marcus was the first person to try and navigate those waters on, let's get a little Evil Dead in here, like you mentioned, Ken. Let's get a little bit of like Nightmare on Elm Street in here, which on this interview, he talks about the difference between getting the glove on here, came in like a briefcase on somebody's wrist, chained at the handcuffs, as opposed to getting handed a Necronomicon in a Gladlock bag.
Right.
Sam Raimi on set. He's like, oh yeah. Sam was like, oh, here, just don't tell anybody I gave this to you. Here, have
Jesus.
it, have at it. Whereas opposed to Bob Shea was just like, no, lock and key, and the second you're done with that scene, it's back in the case and you're coming back.
And no one knows about it. That's what we want to make sure. No one knows about it.
Yeah, unsaid, basically. It's like you leave it to the audience to pick up the Easter eggs. You don't even talk about it.
Fuck yeah. That's the way it should be, man. I hate the fucking internet now.
Well, Ash versus Evil Dead season 1, they got their Freddy glove in the cellar. Yeah. And then in the next scene,
the original
it's gone.
Yeah, in Evil Dead 2, you got the Freddy glove in there. You know, you have Nancy in Nightmare on Elm Street watching Evil Dead.
Yep.
You know, so like these have all been a part of each other for a long time, but to finally see it like that is incredible. And when we talk about the body jumping, and this is what I've told people, like you get now that Jason is a deadite. Like you get that now. Bingo. And look at Evil Dead 2. I mean, it body jumps into Ash. You know what I mean? And you watch it when you get those POV shots. Deadites, that's what they do. And Jason is just a badass one. Like that's he's just a badass deadite.
Yeah. Yes, and I like that. I don't dislike that. That was one of the additions to this that I truly adored. And I wasn't going to bring it up until later, but this to me is like a precursor or prequel to that comic book series that cannot be named.
Ash versus Evil Dead versus Freddy.
Yeah.
Freddy versus Jason versus Ash.
Yeah, because Bruce didn't get paid for it, so I wasn't going to promote it. But if they would have made that, and if they would have made that script into the movie, into the next sequel, like
they tried,
it would have been nuts.
They tried, but the rights wouldn't work out. They really wanted to do that for the second movie, like Freddy versus Ash versus Evil Dead.
Yeah,
or Jason. Yeah.
And it would have worked so well, so well.
Well, including Bruce and Ash into that would have been like, that's the chaotic element that would have brought it. That's the peanut butter and jelly right there.
Yep.
Yeah, like just shaking the foundation of both Freddy and Jason. Like they're both very dangerous individually and together, but probably not as dangerous as Ash is by himself, drunk or stoned, so
pink fuck.
Pink fuck. Yeah.
But
I don't know.
But I like Stephen Williams, but like to Kevin's point, like the three of them in the same scene together just felt like it was getting muddled too much for me.
Yeah.
I don't blame anybody for that. That's just the nature of the beast. They were trying to get as much as they could together with this movie, under budget, on time, and a 90-minute movie, so you could squeeze in an extra screening every day.
Yeah, like was the timing okay for you guys? Like it seemed like it was just right there. Like it wasn't too long, it wasn't too short.
Yeah.
I thought it was
maybe
good paced.
Maybe it was too short. Great. I don't know. I wish I could have seen the Crichton backstory. I wish that would have had time to have been included.
Well, according to Adam, like another 5 to 10 minutes is what he would have preferred to have in there, just to flesh out certain scenes for some characters. But his over 2-hour cut, he was saying like everybody's got a backstory, and it was just getting boring.
Yeah,
and no horror movie like a Jason. None of these Jason, Halloween, Freddy. None of them should be even close to 2 hours. They should not. 35 to 45, an hour 35 to hour 45 is about the cap on that. Yep. Even I can't handle a 2-hour fucking horror movie.
I don't know, man. The Halloween Kills, that first fucking 10 minutes ate up a lot of time, and it was pretty good. You could still add a story to that and still include that 10 minutes and be like, well, you know what? If they did that
the
twice
firefighter
more, if they did that 2 more times, I'd still be okay.
Sure.
That was the best part of that movie.
Yeah. I'm just saying, if they had a violent sequence like that, so just like a just balls out violent sequence 2 or 3 times, I'd be okay.
Very true.
I think that's what it is. It's about the pacing of it, how they're willing to go about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, otherwise, this did not go on too long. For as campy and cheesy as it could get, it didn't go on too terribly long. It wasn't painful to watch.
Except for when Jason's trying to make out with a baby.
Yeah.
It gave me Ted's gonna appreciate this. It gave me Halloween 6 vibes for that moment.
Yeah, no shit. Fuck.
I was like, no, come on.
No
I
one
didn't like
deserves
that part about part 6,
What?
Oh, like Michael trying to make out with Jamie or get her pregnant or any of that shit. Anything with a baby in these movies just does not work for me, really.
That's fair.
Huh.
And don't get me wrong, I think I like cursive Michael Myers a little bit better, but even I admit, like, that's about the part where I'm like, no, that wasn't great at all.
Right.
Huh. Yeah, I always neglected to acknowledge that growing up.
Well, it's got Paul Rudd. I'd like to have him come back at some point, but who knows what's going on with the Halloween movies these days.
Yeah,
But-
shit, no joke.
But there is news with Friday the 13th, potentially with the TV series. We got Linda Cardellini joining the cast. And so, yes, they got rid of Brian Fuller and all of his completed scripts, but they're still moving forward, and I'm still going to watch the damn thing. So, I don't know, guys. You want to judge this thing, give it a score, and move along. Kevin, kick us off.
You know what? This gets, I think it was a 4.1 stars out of 10 on IMDb.
Really?
I think so. Let me double check that. Yeah,
I'm going to check CRTICILESS while you do that.
While you do that, I'm about to be like Jay and Silent Bob at the end of Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back and get all these fucking people's addresses.
How
go
many
visit
people
them.
want to kick some ass? I do. I do. But I'm really just.
I love you guys.
Anyway.
Fucking movie.
yeah.
That's so good, man.
Yep, it really is. Oh God, on CRTICILESS it's 35%. Oh my God.
I'm telling you, people hate this fucking movie, dude.
Oh my God. I never thought it was like that fucking bad. Jesus.
What did 5 get? I gotta know now.
Okay.
Son of a bitch.
I like CRTICILESS because it's a little more fan friendly.
No,
IMDb, it can be kind of like you can throw a score in if you've never seen a movie. It doesn't matter. So
Yeah.
that got a
Now we have-
4.8.
Now I get that fucking "How many people want to kick some ass" song stuck in my head.
Sorry.
you're welcome.
Oh, I
That's
brought
what
it up,
Kevin does
man.
around here. Okay, so on CRTICILESS, it's at 52% for decent for part 5.
So we'll call that a 5.2.
I like the kills in part 5. That might be the one where I really don't mind it, but I wouldn't say I love it. It's
think
very middle of the road for me on that one.
I know I've watched it once, maybe twice. Maybe.
I really enjoyed part 5 until the end. The whole Roy Burns thing is fucking stupid.
Bingo. That's what kills it for me.
What irritates me is when people are like, "It's not a Jason movie." I'm like, dude, it's Jason up until the last 5 minutes, man. Like,
It
it's
really
still, you get the
is.
kills to Jason. You get Jason doing all the things that Jason does.
Yep.
Like, just take out that last. Again, that's
It's
the
the
Freddy
reveal.
car of the fucking Friday franchise. Like, it's bullshit. It's stupid.
Neither 5 or 9 is Halloween 3. Like, they are not comparable. Like, and I have heard people compare both of those to Halloween 3. I'm like, no, it's not the same thing. Not
Halloween
at all.
3 is a completely movie out of place in that franchise. Season of
Yeah.
the Witch.
Yeah. And
And it knows it too, and everybody freaking knows it. So
oh, sure, but people throw the same hate that they've had for Halloween 3 for all those years at these two movies, and you're just kind of like, well,
That's true.
It's not the same.
No,
You know
not at
that
all.
he is in these movies. I'm sorry, not as much as you'd like, but he is actually in these movies.
Right.
It
Well,
is
and
about Jason
Marcus's
Voorhees.
attempt at this movie, like he at least is trying here. He's absolutely a fan. And I
Sure.
feel like I'm getting a Friday the 13th movie out of this, despite like the wild swings at the story plot.
Right.
So I will always give this movie the benefit of the doubt, and it gives you a fucking great ending. Like it sticks the landing when the middle of the movie doesn't. It's like it works somehow. It just does.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of the first Easter egg endings, you know, like
Yep.
And again, we didn't have the internet back then. Not everybody read Fangoria, so like it was popped in every theater for like the first new crowd that went to go see it, you know, all the time, every day. So it's like, how amazing was that to be able to? I mean, Jeff, you'd be able to see that in the fucking theater with that entire crowd of horror nuts. And everybody fucking lose their shit. Like that would have been
everybody
amazing.
went nuts. They were like, no, nobody knew because it was opening day.
Right.
And then word of mouth. It was like, damn, like the movie did make money. It wasn't a failure. It did make money. It just didn't make as much as like Warner Brothers and New Line really wanted.
This to this day is still my absolute favorite horror ending of all time.
Hell yeah.
Like absolutely.
Well, I like him being stuck to hell to begin with. So
this and Tales from the Hood are the two. When I talk about the best horror movie endings, those are the two that always come to me.
You're the only one I know who's seen Tales of the Hood.
That's my favorite horror anthology.
That's a great one. I really like that first one.
Dude, welcome to hell, motherfucker. Like that moment is just like, you know. So yeah, those are my two favorite horror movie endings of all time.
Right on.
I haven't seen that, but I only really want to. And I do mean I really want to because Clarence Williams III is in it, and I love him.
And he's one of the best parts of that movie, man.
Awesome, bro.
Do
we need to add that to October, Kevin?
No, because it's out of print right now, I think. The first one is, I think.
I got it on DVD. I could rip it for you.
All right.
Keep it down.
All right, let's score Jason Goes to Hell. Ken, you want to kick us off? What would you actually score this thing?
Are we talking out of 10?
Out of 10, whatever scale. We can adjust on our own as well.
I'll give it a 7.5 out of 10. Again, is it a perfect movie? No, it's not. There's plenty of issues I have with Jason Goes to Hell, but to me, none of them are like egregiously bad.
Yeah.
I think the biggest complaint, again, the lack of Jason, but you know what? Fucking Robert's in Nightmare on Elm Street for 6 minutes. That's it.
True.
That's all you see Robert in that. You see Bruce the Shark for less than 5 minutes in Jaws.
I was going to bring up Jaws if you didn't.
You know, like you have the less is more thing with Jason here. So when you get him, it's so much more impactful, and it's so much more like it makes your hair stand up, man. Like you get those goosebumps when he busts. Like, man, the first time I seen that, I'll never forget. Just being a little kid, just like, wow, like there he is. There's my guy. There's Jason. You know, and all his badassery coming out right now. And for a 23-year-old kid that had never directed a feature film to write and direct this movie, come on, man. Like that's incredible to me. Like that's not lip service or anything like that. Like that genuinely to me is insane. So yeah, I think 7.5 is a very, very fair score for this movie.
7.
I've been increasing in my head. I started at 5.3 because I don't agree with 4.1 at all. I mean, 5 is at the point where I'm like, you know what? I was entertained. I was entertained by this movie. Anything below that, I was not entertained whatsoever. And it wasn't just so much that I was entertained. I was entertained. There are things that I very greatly remember, like imprinted in my memory, in my soul from growing up watching this, specifically Richard Gant eating the heart, like his movements of slamming people so barbarically like Jason does, like believing that he was Jason in the new body. You know, that's keeping my score increasing as we go along. And I think I would stop around 6.3. Like, this is not a phenomenally good movie. This is not a bad movie by any means. This is a very entertaining movie. If you take it away from anything from like part 6 and on, this is so different from those movies. 6, 7, and 8 were just recycled trash that had no thought put into the story whatsoever. It was just get a group of kids, get us some titties, figure out how to kill them. And this movie was not that. It had a story, it had a plot, it had some thought put into it, it had respect and homage put into it. So it does deserve a higher score than 4.1. I'm really sorry, critics, but it's a better flick. It has a better concept, and it's just as gross throughout, but without the gratuitous scenes of Jason. And it's like you said, Ken, it's like a reward at the end of the movie. Like, yay, you made it, and here he is, like, pow, and it was a big fucking pop, literally and figuratively.
Yeah.
So I'd say this deserves a much higher score than the vast majority of the previous installments of this series. Like, anything after part 4 for certain.
Mm-hmm.
But part 6, anything after part 6.
Yeah, I love part 6 too.
Because Tom and John are my 2 favorite final girls. I ain't gonna lie. I fucking love those 2 guys. Fucking love them.
A special shout out to Vinny out there. We love you, brother. Never Hike Alone and Ghost in the God, what is it?
He's
doing his animated feature.
Ghost
right
in
now.
the Fog.
Ghost in the Fog. That's right.
Vinny's my favorite Jason, dude.
I love Vinny. Love him to death.
Vinny's awesome. Yeah. For me, I'm gonna end up going around about a 7 on this. Like, I enjoy the cast. I overall like the story, and I like the inclusion of a new character like Creighton Dukes. And it's too bad we didn't get more of him. And it's been brought up multiple times through this. Like, his backstory would have been a bit more appreciated for this movie to set up going forward, because he's not dead at the end of this movie either. And we never get back to him ever again. So that's unfortunate. And Stephen Williams is a fantastic actor who's been through a lot of TV shows, a lot of different movies. And, you know, John, fantastic to see him back from Friday the 13th, this TV series. And everybody did a pretty good job. Some drawbacks. The only thing I said I was going to mention in the bad was like the overall look of Jason. I don't like how they did Kane dirty in this movie by making him look like just frumpy and like the guy who was getting in RoboCop melted by nuclear waste, toxic waste is what it felt like with a mask on. But the last thing I'll mention about Adam Marcus's interview was his idea was to have the mask, as the longer a body was taking host, the mask was going to start pushing through the face for a special effect.
That would have been amazing.
That sounded awesome. And he said if he could go back and do something digitally, that's what he would do. So you'd start to see the shape of the hockey mask coming through the face the longer a body was possessed by Jason. And I'm thinking, wow, that actually would have been pretty rad.
Bravo.
So I'm going to go 7. It's a solid movie. Is it the best? No. Is it the worst? Absolutely freaking not. And there's a lot of good stuff in this movie. Good story points, good elements, good character moments. I had a problem with the baby. I'm not going to lie. Like, we didn't need that. But, you know, mom being dead and getting possessed at the end, and then we get full force Jason. Hey, that worked for me. So beyond that, I am going to highlight Adam Marcus's last post on Indiegogo before we sign out, everybody. He was talking about how they had a great world premiere in Glasgow in March. They had a U.S. premiere, Texas Frightmare, on May 24th, which was just a little while ago. And the film makes its U.S. premiere or L.A. premiere on Friday the 13th. So anybody in the L.A. area, go to Gardenia Cinemas. You can go and check it out there. And the Blu-ray is going to be on its way come October, everybody. So
oh yeah,
he doesn't age.
I can't wait. Adam? Oh God,
Yeah.
no! He looks the same as he did in the freaking interview from the Scream Factory interview from like 10 years ago.
Yeah. Yep.
So, but hey, that's Jason Goes to Hell, everybody. Ken, want to let everybody know where they can find you and what you got coming up next.
Yeah. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Threads at Sledgehammer Horror, YouTube at Sledgehammer Horror, Twitter/X at Sledgehammer Horror, HOR. Tomorrow we are releasing our review of Dangerous Animals, which will be out in cinema on Friday. So if you don't want to be spoiled, don't check that out. And then tomorrow evening at 8 Eastern, I'll be doing a live hangout, horror news, things of that nature. And I'm trying to remember what we have coming up on Friday. Because we do one live episode a week, and then we do pre-recorded releases every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And so this Friday, we have our top 10 most uncomfortable horror scenes. So that will be available on Friday.
Nice.
Interesting.
Yes.
I'm gonna check that one out for sure.
We've been lucky. We've coming up on my first horror movie. We have Jordan Blum, we have Mike Harlow, we have Zach Cherry.
Wow.
Nice.
Some really cool guests coming up on my first horror movie in the next couple weeks. And for anybody in the lower Midwest region, July 11th and 12th, Ashley and I will be guests at GhoulieCon in Kentucky. Come out and meet us, shake our hands. And Sunday, we are going to be doing the world premiere of our new film, Desperate Measures. It's a Fioropoli production. And Ashley and I are the male and female leads in this movie. This is the first time that Ashley and I have actually, since we were in high school and did audiovisual production classes, this is the first time we've acted as leads across from each other. I've done other movies where I've been, that are out now on Tubi and Prime and stuff like that. But this is the first one where Ashley and I are leads acting opposite of each other. And it was a lot of fun. We had a blast. That'll be getting its world premiere in Covington, Kentucky at GhoulieCon, July 11th and 12th. And we're waiting to hear back if we made it into the submission for Horror Hound in Cincinnati in September. So if you're in the Cincinnati, Columbus, Cleveland, Lexington area, come out in July and meet us at GhoulieCon. And either way, we'll be at Horror Hound in Cincinnati in September. Come and meet us then, because we finally get to interview and meet Tobin Bell. So come out and meet us at your conventions now, Horror Hound or GhoulieCon this year.
Awesome.
That's rad. Oh, as a little aside, if you are submitting your film to any sort of festivals or anything like that, I'd also recommend submitting it to Film Threat with Chris Gore. They do have, they like to do indie movie reviews, and they would absolutely probably, I'm not going to say guaranteed or anything, but reach out to them. They do like to talk about indie movies, especially indie horror movies. Chris is a big fan, and you might get entered into their awards that they do in January, February. So
hell yeah,
they do have a horror awards section specifically for indie.
Okay, I do got to make it very clear. I have nothing to do with the distribution or production of this movie. I'm just an actor in it. But I will definitely, if you could, when we're done here, could you text that to me that way? Because it is 12:15 my time now, and I got to be up in like 4 hours for work. So I'm going to try to go to bed right when we're done here. But if you could text that to me, that way I could hit them up and I could send it to the proper people at the production company to send it out. I think I would any exposure we can get for this. It would be amazing to try to get eyes on it.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. All right. So let's wrap it up. Kevin, where can everybody find you at? What you got coming up next?
Oh gosh, what do we have coming up next? We just finished our Swords and Sandals. We are currently watching it's not the worst TV series we've ever seen.
Season 3.
It's season 3, Friday the 13th, which is on par with season 1 of War of the Worlds. It's that first pilot. We're going to record it in 2 days, and I still have 10 episodes to watch. So
no, we got another week.
Oh, good. Fuck it.
God, bro, schedule.
And then
Maybe
we
I'll
are-
take over from here. You know,
we're doing Jason X next Sunday or next Tuesday on 0 Point Reviews.
Freddy versus Jason, then Jason X, and then we will be doing
Oh,
Friday
that's
the 13th,
right.
Part 7. We are a little off schedule this month for Friday because we have some guests who we have Horror with Nads next week, and we got Night Party podcast joining us as well, Zach, and following week we got Horror with Nats, and then after that it's just us for Part 7, unless somebody is willing to donate their time for us. But yeah, that's Friday the 13th. The series every other Friday, starting not this Friday, but the week from Friday, and every Thursday is Stargate streams, and every Tuesday is a Friday the 13th movie for the next few weeks. So I want to say thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Head on over to Sledgehammer Horror. Make sure you are liking, following, and subscribing, Ken. We're trying to get that brother over to 15,000 subscribers. Let's freaking go. And we're working our way up to about 7,250. So if you want to hit the like button for us too, hit the subscribe button down below. We greatly appreciate it. You all have a good night. And Freddy versus Jason, we're coming for you. We're coming.